completely lost. And whose fault is that, I wonder?
Bah, this map doesn't help. It's too easily insulted. I was only joking when I said that I was going to use it to wipe my...
I wonder who this wonderful and beautiful scent belongs to.
Waven is weird, but it's awesome. Set in the world of Dofus and Wakfu and its Netflix anime, Waven is yet another turn-based MMO title from the French development and animation studio Ankama. And when it comes to animation, Ankama is extremely underrated in my opinion. The charming art style and the lighthearted humor has always been something that has drawn me to this world. Now that there's a demo available on Steam, I wanted to see if Ankama is offering anything new to the overly saturated MMO space. When you first start up the game, you're presented with 5 playable classes: the Ranger class Kra, Support Anaripsa, Warrior Eop, Assassin Sram, and Zealor, the Time Mage, each of which have 5 subclasses paired with their own unique set of abilities. We'll go over all of the classes and subclasses after the official release of the game, so stay tuned for that. And after you've created your character, you'll be introduced to your master trainer Gulter, who you may recognize from the Wakfu anime. He's going to show you the basics of combat. Initially, combat in Waven is fairly simple. You click and drag your character to move or to attack. Things get more interesting after you complete your first tutorial mission, and you're awarded 9 different spells depending on the class you have chosen. You're asked to equip these spells to create a deck. Though you have limited options to choose from at the start, throughout the demo you're awarded dozens of spells to mix and match, which allows you to create your own unique deck catered to your playstyle and to your team's composition if you decide to play with a party. I had a ton of fun with this system as I'm a huge fan of collectible card games such as Magic, and another that I bet you never knew existed, the Final Fantasy TCG. One day I'll have that full art, shiny cloud. In the meantime, Gulter teaches us how to use these spells in combat. Each spell is assigned a cost, known as ability points. You start the round with 6 AP, and although you can only move or attack once, there is no limit to how many spells you can play per turn, as long as you can pay their cost. In this case, we'll start off by using a 6-cost water spell to deal 35 damage to our target. We are also told that some spells do not always require an enemy target. You can set traps and cast some area of effect spells onto empty tiles. You can also cast supportive or damaging spells onto friendly units, so carefully choosing your target is essential. At the end of this battle, we are introduced to our first companion Yaki, which we can now add to our deck. Companions are an additional way to customize your character and playstyle. You can equip up to 4 different companions, allowing you to adjust to many different combat situations. Much like your hero, companions can take on an offensive, defensive, or supportive role on the battlefield. To summon them, you must increase your elemental gauge corresponding to the companion you wish to summon. Yaki requires 2 of the water element. Note that each companion can only be summoned once per fight, so if they fall in battle, you won't be able to use them until your next encounter. Casting certain spells increases your elemental gauge. In this case, we gain 2 water from casting the spell Open Sea Bolt. After we pay the cost, we can click and drag Yaki onto the battlefield at any point during our turn. Companions can move and attack just like your hero. They all have their own unique stats, and higher level companions have really strong abilities, so carefully building a deck to quickly summon your companions can really help your progress. We're often awarded companions at the end of a battle, and unlocking rare companions is really exciting after grinding out difficult fights in dungeons. Mixing and matching different spells, companions, and hero classes has led to a much deeper experience than one would expect. Waven has shown a lot of promise during its demo, although we were only exposed to a small portion of its world. There seems to be so much beneath the surface of this game, but I'm not surprised as Ankama's previous titles, Dofus and Wakfu, have been a really enjoyable experience for those looking for a more tactical style MMO. After I completed the tutorial, I was able to sail my ship to different islands on the overworld map. One of the first islands I sailed to was the Haven, which is a customizable zone in which you can create your own home by placing different decorations and trophies. I wasn't able to add anything to my haven during the demo, but having my own personal space seems like something I could spend a lot of time in, especially if I can invite my friends and guildmates. The Colosseum is where organized PvP seems to take place. As far as I know, PvP is going to be normalized, so you'll have access to all of the spells and companions the game has to offer from the start. As I explored the Colosseum, the music and the sound of clashing steel really stood out for me, and I began to appreciate how great the sound design in Waven is. I think the demo that we were shown was extremely promising. Although I wish the exploration was a bit more open world like Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft, or even Dofus and Wakfu, I understand the design decision. Since the game is being released with both PC and mobile in mind, a vastly open world may affect the performance when porting the game over to different platforms. I mean, I still enjoy talking to the NPCs and being instanced to their quests, though I hope to see a little bit more world building and purpose. There are NPCs that are locked during the demo, so I hope those are the ones that are really driving the main story. Other than quests, there are also dungeons in Waven that can be explored with multiple paths and side missions. Because the game puts all the players in one smaller zone for each island, there are more opportunities for social interaction, so I was able to quickly find another player to do my first dungeon with. To be honest, if I'm looking for a full-out immersive MMO experience with deep exploration, I don't think I would resort to playing on my mobile device anyway. So Waven hits a really nice sweet spot in the genre. The gameplay is very engaging. I love the fact that there are no autoplay or crazy gacha systems, and though there are much deeper mechanics in games such as Divinity or troubleshooters, combining spells with your teammates and building decks was super satisfying. To be honest, the first run of the dungeon didn't go so well for me. I had picked up about every single spell that sounded fun without really putting thought into the synergies. Long story short, my teammate had to carry me and I was knocked out during the very first fight. Enemies are buffed in co-op, so I had to refine my build for specific elements and companions, and the rest of the run was pretty smooth. It's satisfying to see that my decisions as a player do matter, and it's not all based on some 5-star gacha legendary hero, but strategy, coordination, and builds. That's what MMO should be about. I honestly can't wait to play more. I really hope Ankama continues to build on such a great foundation that they have for this game. There is so much I didn't cover in the demo, but I don't want to be spoiled for when the game actually releases. Also, things will most likely change on full release. I can't wait to see the community grow around the game and hear what builds you guys come up with. If you were able to check out the demo for yourselves, what did you think? What would you like to see in the future for Waven? Until next time, let's keep in touch and have a good one.